Alright, welcome back everyone. Today I had kind of a test and tune session at my local schoolyard with several different vehicles. I brought two Tamiya TT02s. I brought the Pagani Zonda R out here made by Charisma. And I brought my homemade 110 scale A959B out there for mostly for testing. And well, long story short, the Tamiya failed within 5 minutes of use. I'm very satisfied with the F1 rubber that was on this vehicle. Putting it on the WL Toys was a big success in my opinion. I'm going to add some weight to the front of it. This is not the car obviously, but I'm going to add some weight to the front of it because now I'm getting a little bit of understeer when I'm accelerating through a corner and accelerating out of the corner, right? If it's a tight corner and I'm accelerating out of it, I'm getting a little bit of understeer. And then the same with if it's a long sweeping corner, I'm getting understeer as well. So I don't want to lower the front suspension anymore. I can to transfer the weight put more front weight bias, more mechanical grip on the front tires on that car. I don't want to go that route. Instead, I think I'm going to raise the suspension back up to get more suspension travel and add some weight up front. I think I'm going to start with an ounce and a half, whatever, work my way up until I'm satisfied. I'm looking for a neutrally balanced car. I don't like understeer, although it's much better than what it was before. It's uncontrollable. Every time you let off the throttle and go into a corner, the rear end would come out, which it makes the car highly undesirable to drive, although a lot of fun for bashing around. You know, you could always do a donut, you could always make the rear end come out, and that's what I want. I want the rear end to come out when I squeeze the trigger in a corner. If I want the rear end to come out, it's because I commanded it to come out, not because the vehicle is upset by some means. Right, so now let's get back to the story here. We're on the Zonda R. This is a 380 size can motor, and I did have a failure. The blue tape right here is to stop wheel play, like I talked about in one of the other videos. I found that one little loop around the 14 millimeter hex helps eliminate that slop, that left to right slop or up and down depending on how you view it. And I ended up having a failure with this car too. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. There is a pin. Well, there, you can kind of see daylight through it a little bit. You can see how it changes color. Right, I put my finger underneath there and it blocks it. Right. So that pin came out. So it was acting like a slipper clutch. So I need, well, obviously I don't know where the hell that is because I didn't find that out until about halfway through the test drive. So I need to make up a new pin, shove it in there, and maybe put a drop of solder or something on it. I think some oil-filled dampeners versus friction dampeners on the sides will be better as well. It's quite good on its own in the way that it handles, but I think oil-filled will be even better. So I might consider that, see if I can find some shocks that I can shove some grease into or pack some grease into, or oil-filled shocks, and stick them in its place. I think I have them, yeah, they're pretty much maxed out. It still leans a little bit too much in my opinion in the corners. In other words, right, we got this kind of flex, but we're not having the return, right? We're not having the return. It's kind of stiff. I might be able to loosen up the screws here, because this feels kind of tight, and get some of that return back, lubricate them again, and that might help out, and I'll probably do that as well. If anything else, if I can't find the oil-filled shocks, I think I'll loosen up those screws, loosen up the clamping force on it, so that way the springs can work more effectively. Other than that, the car is just so fucking fast. It's just so fucking fast. This 380 size can motor, when it gets into its power band, it just breaks loose the tires. I forget what kV rating it is, but it has a oversized pinion. 25 tooth or larger, I don't remember. But once it gets into its power band, let's just say it's 5,000 RPMs to whatever, 30,000 RPMs, I don't know. I don't remember. But once it gets into its power band, the tires just break loose. So I was never able to even get to 50% throttle. And I need to try and find the owner's manual to the ESC. I'm not getting any reverse or any reverse braking. You push forward on the trigger. I'm not getting any reverse braking, so I need to calibrate the ESC. Hopefully I can find that. It's been probably almost a year, maybe even 2 years, I don't remember. It's been almost a year, I would say. So I'm not getting any braking either. So it's been, let off the throttle, coast, hit the hammer down, and whatnot. But in all, I really like this car. It's just highly difficult to drive, very difficult to drive, and mostly because I believe the power band on this motor is it's to the extreme. It takes off nice and slow, or I'm not going to say nice and slow. Well, it doesn't break loose the tires, right? It takes off under a good acceleration. You can nail the throttle, take off, and then once the car reaches about 10 miles an hour, it seems like the motor hits its power band, the wheels break free, and then the rear end comes out, and you're in a spin. And again, that's less than 50% throttle. So I think I'm going to pull the 2600 kV motor out of my Tamiya. I'm going to put it in here with a smaller pinion gear. I think the added extra weight on the back side is going to be a benefit, and a smaller pinion gear is going to make the torque more manageable. And give it another test. Hopefully, I'm going to say tomorrow, which would be Monday, Labor Day weekend, but I don't know for sure. Other than that, so it was a valuable day either way. I learned some lessons. I learned that Tamiya is no good for off-road use, and when the rear tires off this car that were of rubber proved to be a big benefit to my WL Toys car. And these tires kind of suck ass on the concrete or the blacktop, and that motor's just got a very weird power band, and I think I need some oil-filled dampener. So everything's a valuable lesson. You just got to take it in stride. And maybe the rear shock, although it feels quite soft when going over bumps, maybe it needs to be a little bit softer, because on acceleration, I don't know. It's just, I'm not getting the mechanical grip. I think the rubber tires were definitely better. So I might, in the future, order another set of rubber tires. Gluing them up is proved to be a pain in the ass, though. Maybe it's the super glue I was using, but it seemed to dry as soon as I put it down, and it made it very difficult to get the rubber to line up perfectly. So that was another reason why I put them on WL Toys. But other than that, always take your negatives, learn from them, challenge yourself into making something better for you, for yourself, for the product you're working on, whatever the case may be. Never accept a failure when you know that there is room for improvement. Have a good day.